Nearest neighbor is about 2 miles away, and then after that it's about 8 miles.
Brought me my dog. I lived in my car for about 6 months. It was me and her, then I met that guy.
So I'm out here on 80 acres of land in the middle of nowhere, and I got people telling me I can't live out here.
So let me get this straight. You've received death threats?
Yeah, several of them. Truthfully, being off the grid, you know, one of the reasons I moved out here is because I really want to conserve nature and I hate to see anything being wasted.
So somebody's actually not only threatening you with bodily harm, but they're threatening to burn down your cabin?
Yeah, people threaten to burn down my cabin because I closed the trail down.
Real life is harsh out here sometimes, right?
It is, you know, the winters are tough up here. You got to do everything yourself, especially being as far out as I am. You're walking back in time when you're doing this kind of lifestyle.
So you went from Hollywood to this?
Yeah, people think I'm nuts out here. You know, there's two trains of thought. I'm either living the dream or I'm completely insane. Filmed the Grammys in 2005. Yeah, James Brown, Jimmy Page, Selma Hayek, Quentin Tarantino was there. Always knew that I was going to come back to Michigan and this is going to be my forever home.
I'm here with Perry, and he's a homesteader out here. His nearest neighbors are pretty far away, and he's going to tell you about that and a whole lot of other things about homesteading life here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Many people romanticize the idea of homesteading. How many of you would like to live in a cabin in the woods surrounded by the beauty of nature? A piece of land with a creek flowing across it, deer and other animals as your companions, and the peace and quiet of a seemingly stress-free lifestyle. It's a lovely image, but the reality of it is something else entirely. Just because you have no neighbors doesn't mean you have no problems with people. Michigan native Perry and his girlfriend Lou, who was originally from Bulgaria, have been living the homestead life for several years now. A very large dog was the reason they met, and they've been together ever since. This is a story of love, dogs, and the harsh reality of living this type of life. And it's also a tale about life's joy.
So I'm out here on 80 acres of land in the middle of nowhere, and I got people telling me I can't live out here. I'm not allowed to live out here on my own land I pay taxes on, and in the United States they're saying that I can't live here, I can't live off the land, I can't be out here because I do things differently than what everybody else does things. Because I don't have your atypical electric setup or your atypical water setup. But we have everything that we need to get by.
So you live out here in the middle of nowhere, no neighbors around, and there's people trying to tell you what to do?
Yeah, how many chickens I can have, you know, what I can do with my land, you know, it's ridiculous.
This is Lou, Perry's girlfriend, and she's going to tell us a little about these dogs.
They're Central Asian Shepherds. They come from Russia. It takes 3 years to train them for their full capacity of their health and everything. My prize dog got hit by a side-by-side, and that's when side-by-sides were racing, and they keep bears away. They keep wolves away. That's why they crop their ears, because if they keep their ears, the wolves can just grab their ear and walk them to where they want them to be. And I believe it takes just 2 of these dogs to put down a bear. Usually if they could smell them, to just stay away. That's why we needed the dogs to be here, because we don't see anything around here because of them. They keep the predators away. Yeah, I was in a bad relationship, and my brother brought me my dog. She protected me no matter where I went, but she was good to everyone. But she knew who was bad. She went everywhere I went. She was the best friend. She was good to my kids. She was good to all kids. I don't believe that anyone should own a dog like this. She's very missed. She was the alpha. She made sure that everybody was having a good time. That was her thing. She liked having fun, and we all miss her a lot. And we think about her all the time.
She became your protector.
Right, yeah. After I got her, there was no raising your voice or anything like that because she didn't like it. So it was great.
And then what happened? You took the dog with you, got out of that relationship?
Yeah, we broke up, and I lived in my car for about 6 months. And it was me and her. Then I met that guy.
This guy right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sadly, the ATV, or the side-by-side guys, hit her, ran her over.
Yeah.
Right. I think she thought I was coming back home because I wasn't here. So she was running to greet me.
Central Asian Shepherds, male and female. They call them wolf crushers over in Europe.
Where did this dog come from?
The male was raised down in Flint, and he was a guard dog at a dispensary, a marijuana dispensary down in Flint for a while. So we were lucky enough to get him up here, and he's a great shepherd. You know, they take care of the livestock and they keep everything at bay. You know, we don't have any problems with wolves. Before I got them, we'd have coyote and fox and wolf tracks right in the yard, going right around the chicken coop. And after we got them, the closest they'll come is literally 100 yards away. So they can tell that the dogs are here, and the dogs do a very good job at keeping all the predators at bay.
But how big do these dogs get? I mean, they look really large.
So our male is right around 200 pounds. Females run a little bit smaller. This one here is probably about 135. But the one that we had hit by the side-by-side was closer to his size. She was probably 160. So, but they get upwards of 200 plus. And when they stand on their hind legs, they're basically as tall as the fences are.
Hi guys. When they're standing on their hind legs, they're like how tall?
Probably about 8 feet. There's videos of them online fighting bears and tigers and packs of wolves. I mean, they're a formidable breed. They're probably one of the top 5 most formidable or dangerous breeds in the world. They're called Central Asian Shepherds, or they're also known as alibis.
How far away are your nearest neighbors?
Nearest neighbor is about 2 miles away. There's just one couple, and then after that it's about 8 miles to the next person, and then everybody's in town pretty much.
So let me get this straight. You've received death threats?
Yeah, I've had some different individuals threaten bodily harm about me, to kill me, because I closed down the road on my private land. It's all QFR land, which is legal. Their side-by-side traffic was destroying the property. Went ahead and put gates up and received quite a few threats because of that. Cost me my job and a lot of other things.
This is your chicken coop here?
Yeah, so what we did was somebody was going to go ahead and get rid of this old camper. And so what we did was we took the camper and we basically took it apart and basically gutted it. And we put nesting boxes inside there. And our chickens come in here every night, closes up nice and easy with the doors. And instead of this ending up in a landfill, we went ahead and repurposed it. It's all enclosed and it's mobile, so we can go ahead and move it out. The floor in there is actually linoleum, so we just clean out all our fertilizer from the chickens and we spread that out, and then that's into our garden area here, and we keep expanding as time goes by. But we try to repurpose everything, and we've got several different chickens and we get farm fresh eggs every day, so it's always a benefit to being out here in the woods, especially at the prices right now.
I'm just going to go in and have a little look at the chicken coop here. So we're going in the little trailer here, and hey, there's a big chicken right there and some up there. Yeah, how you guys doing? You got the feed over there. That's a pretty good little setup, and like you say, it keeps stuff out of the landfill. Tell me about your solar setup here.
So we have 2 unique systems for solar. There's a company called Goal Zero, and they're an innovative company. They have a solar generator, and we have 3 panels hooked up to that. They're a 3,000 watt generator. It's enclosed, it's in the house, and that generator powers pretty much everything. Keurig, coffee maker, charges our iPad, our tablets, our computer, our TV, and that runs off of 3 100 watt Boulder solar panels, and it's literally plug and play. So all you have to do is basically hook the panels up, obviously make sure there's sun, and then plug them into the generator, and that keeps the generator charged. Takes about 6 to 8 hours to do a full charge, full sun. Then we have a second system in place, which is a single panel, and that runs our lighting, and it's all LED DC lighting. And it's a DC setup. I wired that myself. We have 3 marine batteries in this generator house here, and those 3 marine batteries are hooked to that one panel, and that panel keeps those batteries charged, and that runs our lighting system inside. With our the lights are only 10 watts, but they're extremely bright because they're LEDs and they're adjustable, so they're dimmable. So we have 3 lights, and that lights up the whole cabin. So pretty unique system. And then everything else is solar as well. We've got some live feed cameras out here for security purposes. Just keep an eye on things. Those are all solar generated cameras. They're completely wireless, so they're hooked up. Those are by RO-Link, another great company, and that's a live feed that goes to my phone. So even when I'm not on property, it'll send me an alert if there's a vehicle or a person or anything going through the yard. And then obviously our outdoor lights out here because we're completely off the grid. Everything's solar as well, so all our lighting outside, they'll all be individual lighting systems with different panels and different settings and brightness, and they go on and off throughout the night.
So this is a very simple and effective way of going.
Yeah, absolutely. The Goal Zero, make it pretty easy with a plug and play. You know what I mean? You just basically plug it in and it's good to go. We have a Generac generator also, as well as a backup system. We actually have two Generacs that run parallel, 6,500 watts. So in the wintertime when we're not getting a ton of sun, we could turn on one or both of those, and that'll charge the whole system inside the house if the solar panels can't go ahead and get it done. But the Goal Zero system is quite effective. Since 2017, so it's been just over 7 years now.
7 years living out here.
The cabin was built in 1927, and it was originally in another part of the UP called the Beaver Basin. The system's actually down to 0 right now, but that's the Goal Zero generator right there.
Just right down here?
Yeah. So,
okay, so that's the Goal Zero right there.
if you can see it, let me show you so these are the LEDs that we were talking about. They're kind of brighten it up in here a little bit.
Oh yeah, it does put some pretty good light in here.
Yeah, so we've got water purification systems. So that's an Ithel system. You can put that right in a crick, and it's portable. And you turn it on, and that'll go ahead and purify your water. Probably about 3 gallons in about 30 minutes on a charge. So you can get 3 gallons of purified water. You can go to any creek, pond, puddle, bucket of water, rainwater, and it'll filter it completely out. This is an AquaTrue system, made more for, that one there is made more for municipal water. So if you want to take like bottled water and you want to filter out all the minerals and all that kind of stuff, that's the AquaTrue system. Our oven's propane. So the oven is an old 1930 Detroit Jewel out here. We talk about replacing it, but it really is kind of a unique system. Everything works on it. It doesn't have your typical burner, but it's a great little oven. It's been out here for 40 years. And then our refrigerator here, this is our propane fridge. It's made by Easy Freeze. It's a company out of Colorado. Just a wonderful unit. It's also made off of propane. 21 cubic foot is the biggest one we could get, which is great because we have all kinds of veggies and different stuff. We've got, we pick strawberries and raspberries, and we've got fish in here and everything else. So occasional Starbucks. Go to the city, but not a very big place. Only 700 square feet. But this is the whole living area. Got a little TV, my Mac set up. The place is obviously a mess right now, but. And then we have propane lights as well. So we do have propane in here in case for whatever reason. So the propane lights, everything still works how it should. But so that's pretty much lights everything up. If for whatever reason the solar ever fails, we've got backups for pretty much everything. And then there's another Goal Zero system right there. This is a Goal Zero. This is another Goal Zero generator. This is the Yeti 500X. This is 500 watts. And this is kind of like our bedside. Charges my Apple Watch and our phones and our, my iPad at night when I'm playing on the internet. And then we've got another Goal Zero system over there. That's the 400. And that 400 runs our printer, kind of our office space. Then we heat with firewood, which you saw out in the yard. And then we have our propane back up here for our heat, which also backs up in the wintertime here. So a little propane wall space heater there. I could turn the light on here. So a little better. But these LED lights are great. They're dimmable and they only take 10 watts. So super bright, and they'll go for hours. We've got 3 of them and it lights up the whole place. And then we've got the propane as well. So actually we've got 4. Forget, we got 4 now.
So what would you say your main source of heat is through the winter?
Firewood, for sure. And we've got the chimney over here and the fireplace, and that keeps this place, it gets up to 100 degrees. It's like a sweat box in here sometimes in the winter. So, but that cast iron fireplace is beautiful. Sparkles in the wintertime. I always joked, you know, living off grid. You know, we got cast iron pots and pans. It's like 100 years ago. You know, it's you're walking back in time when you're doing this kind of lifestyle, with obviously some modern technology to help make things a little easier. And we're always in the process of renovating. We've put in new windows and we've got new flooring coming, and those are brand new Anderson windows behind you there. And everybody asks about the chain link on the windows. The chain link's up. Keep the bears out. Believe it or not, like at some point in time we've had bears try to get in the cabin, so living out here in the woods, you'd be surprised what tries to get in. But no mice. We haven't had any mice in here in almost 7 years, so.
Yeah, well, that's good because I occasionally get mice getting inside the dash of my car.
Yeah, they're destructive little creatures, but once you find where they're getting in, that's the key. When you can find out where they're getting in and you block that hole, you should have no problems. So when I first came back here in 2017, the chinking and everything was gone. The cabin was in pretty rough shape. It was always our old hunting shack. It had been here since '76 and it was pretty well dilapidated. So I had to put in all new chinking, all new foam, put new drywall up, just lots and lots of work. And I did it all myself, a little help from friends, but for the most part, put everything together. Just lots of work, like I said, you know. And this cabin was originally built in 1927. It's the original Superior Lodge. It was down in the Beaver Basin, which is now in the National Park. Park Service came in and took over all the land and basically said, you can move it or we're going to burn it to the ground. So in '76, my grandfather took it apart log by log and numbered every single log, and we moved it to this location in 1976 and put it together here. It was the same year I was born. So a lot of history inside this old cabin.
Was it your father that acquired this property in 1949?
It was my great uncle Jack, so Jack Nijelski, who came back from the war, and he bought this 80-acre parcel. Originally, I think he paid $9,000 for it. So for 80 acres in 1949. So, and I have the deeds going back all the way to 1880. So the land has gone through quite a bit of price fluctuation. I think originally the 80 acres in 1880 was $1,000, and then in the 1920s it was upwards of $120,000 because the logging companies were coming in here and they were taking out all the white pine. So it used to be a huge forest. That big stump by the chicken coop is a remnant of the big white pine trees that used to fulfill this whole area. And then after they logged it, that same piece of land went from $120,000 down to $9,000 within 15 years. So it's quite a bit. I paid a little bit more than that when I bought it, but
wow, that's some interesting history there.
yeah, it's like I said, it's been in the family for a long time, but we're making it work. Our well system's not set up yet, so we have this little automated system. You can get this on Amazon for about 20 bucks, and it's just, you know, regular sink water. We do all our dishes and everything here, and it's just a nice little device for having water. It comes with 2 batteries. I think it was 20 bucks, and we just purify the water and we put it in this little bucket and we do all our dishes right here in the sink, and we're just waiting for we're in line. There was 100 and something wells ahead of us when we decided to get our well, so we're hoping by the end of this year we'll have running water in here, so, but we'll see.
So right now everything is dependent on a creek.
Yeah, on a creek, yeah. So which is the same aquifer that we're effectively using for our water right now. So we get all our water for the animals, we go down to the creek, and we basically have another system where we put it like the Ithel system, but it's a little bit bigger. It's a portable system, and it comes with a pump and a battery, and we just put the tube in the water with 2 filters, and it filters everything out. And then we filter that a third time for drinking or cooking or whatever other purposes that we have. So, and that's this system here. This is the Popola system, which is basically an electric water pump. So, and it comes with a battery, and you just bring this down to the creek and you hook your hoses up to it and you turn it on, and the battery's in the back here. This is about 100 bucks for this thing, and it's a high volume pump, and the water filter system is in here. That's your filter. You put that inside And we have another cheesecloth filter that goes around there to keep all the big particles out. And we run it through those other systems, and that's how we get all our water. We have a Juco shower system. I don't know if you've heard of Juco. That's in that back shed because I don't have it hooked up right now, but it's another system basically. So we have everything we need out here.
So somebody's actually not only threatening you with bodily harm, but they're threatening to burn down your cabin?
Yeah, people threaten to burn down my cabin because I closed the trail down. Talking about bulldozing the trail right on the very edge of my property to get through with the side-by-sides. So it's been pretty sad.
And all this because you legally put a gate across an ATV trail?
Yeah, it's actually just a snowmobile trail, which they signed a lease, so they have access. The problem is people can't discern the difference between being on a sled, which doesn't do any damage to the natural environment in the wintertime, and being on an ORV, which basically destroys the land, erodes the gravel, wildlife. We've had one of our chickens run over. We've had, I've got animals that have crossed the road that have been killed, partridge, rabbits, turtles, everything that they just destroy. My girlfriend's dog was another Central Asian Shepherd, and she was our main breeding dog that we were going to have, and over $5,000. And she got hit by a side-by-side, two kids in a rented side-by-side out of Curtis coming through racing, and they hit her square on the road and killed her right on the spot. It was a really rough day.
Wow. So homesteading has some rough times. I mean, it's not the romanticized thing that people try and make it out to be sometimes. I mean, real life is harsh out here sometimes, right?
It is. You know, the winters are tough up here in Upper Peninsula, and you know, you got to do everything yourself, especially being as far out as I am. It's not easy to get any contractors out here to do anything, so you're off basically figuring it out on your own, whether it be putting in a well or cutting firewood or basically everything. I mean, I hooked up my own solar, whatever it is, you got to figure it out on your own.
So this is the notorious gate that you put up, huh? This is causing you all the grief and problems with the...
Yeah, you know, I put this up, you know, we're part of a stewardship program through the Department of Agriculture. My family and myself have been part of this for almost 40 years. We started it in the 90s. The plans run about 10 years. You have to get it renewed every 10 years, and the purpose of that is to go ahead and maintain your forest, and that's to protect the wildlife, protect the natural beauty of what's out here. And you know, I put this gate up because the side-by-sides sales went up 600% during COVID, and unfortunately those machines are quite destructive machines, and they've completely destroyed the road. They erode. Because we're down here in the swamp area, I've come down here in the springtime where they've killed a mother, and there's baby rabbits on the road that don't have a mother anymore because the mother was killed because they're going too fast and they don't stop. One spring I came down here and there was little tiny puffball partridge that they don't fly when they're first born, and they couldn't get out of the way, and there's 3 or 4 of them that were crushed on the road. Just recently there was a turtle up here in a puddle that was crushed and broken. His shell was broken and killed. They don't slow down. They're going through here. The Alger County ordinance is 25 miles an hour, and they drive through at 40, 50 miles an hour and have no respect for any signs. I've put up posted slow, and as a process of putting this gate up, you know, we started out with the signs, and then we went ahead and put up these big piles of gravel and rock on each side. Then we put up the posts, and then finally we put up the gates. And not one of those steps got anyone to slow down. Everybody came through here. I won't say everybody, but a lot of people came through at really high amounts of speed, and really it was quite destructive. You know, the last straw was when our prized dog got killed, and you know, because I put this up, I've, you know, had people threaten to burn down my cabin, people threaten my life, and it's sad because all we're trying to do out here is preserve this natural area and the beauty that it is. It's unfortunate that people don't respect this, you know, pristine environment and the limited resources that we have up here, and I feel it's important to keep those things around for future generations.
So tell me, this is your sign for the stewardship forest, and that's exactly what you're talking about, trying to keep this area nice and natural, right?
Yeah, the stewardship program is through the Department of Agriculture. Every 10 years they come through with a forestry plan, and they look at your forest and they come up with a plan on how to maintain your forests, how to make sure that you're cutting out timber that's old growth that needs to be trimmed in order to make for new growth and to keep your forest healthy. So when there's a instance, for example, the beech bark disease, they want to make sure that all those trees are removed so you don't have any diseased trees that are passing that to undiseased trees. So it's about keeping forests healthy, keeping the environment healthy, making a place for animals to be, safe where they have undisturbed homes and areas. And unfortunately, the noise from the side-by-sides and the dust and the destruction that they do, it's not a great environment. So, I went ahead and put this gate up, make this a place for future generations to be able to come down here and enjoy nature.
So you've had a lot of destruction on the road from ATVs and side-by-sides and such, is that true?
Yeah, they erode the road. The way that the tires are torqued on the vehicles is they completely, they'll kick rocks up. They create holes. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars having professional grade equipment come down here to try to go ahead and flatten it out, and within a period of several weeks, the side-by-sides going by have basically destroyed the road. There's logs coming out of the road. This was originally a two-rut logging road, and they put corduroy logs across this road, and those logs are sticking up now, which has become an extreme hazard. We've had side-by-sides, four-wheelers flip end over end. People ended up in the hospital because they're going too fast on this road and have hit these logs, got flat tires from the broken culverts that are sticking out of the road that were in place. And all of this has been based on the side-by-side traffic and the erosion that they've done to the natural road that was put in place here back in the 1980s, and the destruction is awful.
Do you have any examples you could show me of the torn up road?
Yeah, absolutely. I can show you down here.
So what's going on here?
So because we're down here in the swamp, when the logging companies came through here 40 years ago, what they did was they put this corduroy log down across the road. Then they put dirt on top of it so the logging trucks could come through. But what's happened because of the side-by-side use is the corduroy has come right out of the road, and it's actually become very dangerous. In fact, last year we had a gentleman with a four-wheeler come through here, and he hit this hole right here, and he went end over end, and his machine ended up over there. He broke the front axle. He ended up going to the hospital, had a concussion, almost killed him. So it's been extremely destructive, and the road is no longer even drivable unless you've got a four-wheel drive vehicle or something similar to that. You can't get down here with a car anymore because it's so bad.
So this road right here, that we're seeing right here, this was all level and flat.
Yeah.
And now with all these huge ruts and all this wood showing, this is what it's become in just a matter of months.
Yep.
So it's heavily, it's got some serious ruts and dips and things like that.
Yeah, rocks coming out, these things coming out of the ground. You can see where the culverts that were put on the road here been run over and broken, pieces everywhere. Flatten your tire with that, and just dangerous, even an animal stepping on something like this is not good. I'm originally from Marquette, which is about an hour and a half from here. I was born and raised up in the UP of Michigan. Went to Arizona. I lived out in Phoenix and Scottsdale for about 17 years. For the most part out there, I managed a lot of high-end restaurants and different venues in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I did a lot of media stuff. So for a while I produced a magazine that I did myself, and I worked for another magazine called 944 Magazine. Worked for Runway Magazine, which is an international publication, for 9 years. I was their West Coast sales manager, and also produced a television show. We were on ABC 15. It was a destination show. We did big time events, filmed the Grammys in 2005, sponsored by Heineken on the green carpet out in LA at the Staples Center. Used to do a lot of celebrity events, charity events, multimedia, and high-end fashion shows, and always knew that I was going to come back to Michigan, and this is going to be my forever home, I guess, and retire here. And this is kind of where I grew up, and this is where I was happiest. So when the time came for me to come back, I always knew I was going to be out here.
So you're out there filming the Grammys, celebrities and all these.
Yeah, James Brown, Jimmy Page. You know, the Grammys is unique. Selma Hayek. Lots of different celebrities. Quentin Tarantino was there that day. We were right down from MTV. We were ABC, CBS affiliate, so we were literally right there in the midst of everything. So, yeah, I used to do a lot of different events. Met lots of celebrities: Hulk Hogan, Jonathan Bennett. My host on the show was Danielle Dembski. She's does the Vegas Minute right now. She does. She's Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady on television right now. She's in the latest Toyota commercial. You'll see her on TV. Good friends of mine.
People probably wouldn't think somebody out here homesteading would have had that life.
No, it was definitely a unique experience. You know, it feels like a whole nother lifetime ago. I've been here almost 10 years now. I'm 48. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm happiest. I think being in nature and being out here, living off the land to the best of my ability is really what most people should do. I feel that it's healthier and it's more beneficial to your mental health.
Right, so you feel a real connection just being out here to the land and the animals.
Absolutely.
And you feel better mentally?
Yeah, mentally, physically. The clean air, you know, living in Phoenix, lots of smog, dirt, dust, just dirty out here. It's pristine, you know, everything's clean, air's clean. So it's beautiful out here. And I think people go on vacation, they come to a place like this, and some people appreciate it and some people don't. And I think there's a reason they come here, you know, they want to enjoy it. And I just want to keep that around for everybody so that people will be able to enjoy it generations and generations to come.
So what's going on with the roof?
So the roof, you know, it's about 40 years old right now. I just had these Amish guys come out here, and they're going to go ahead and put a new roof on next summer. You know, the roof is, the cabin, like I said, is almost 100 years old. So we've got these guys that come from an Amish community, you know, horse and buggy with the beards and everything, and you know, they do really good work, and they're excellent craftsmen, and they came out here and took a look at it just the other day, and we'll have a new roof on here next year. Putting a metal roof on, which is a lot more beneficial for the snow in the wintertime, and it needed to be done. One of about 1 million projects out here that I'm working on. I'm always doing stuff. Had to clear this tree to get the Starlink to work because it was an obstruction, and you know, got a root cellar there and a lean-to there, and you know, it's always something out here. Lots of hard work, lots of firewood to split right here. We put a new chimney in 2 years ago, so we're, you know, heat with firewood, and always something. So always keep them busy.
So never a dull moment when you're trying to survive in the woods, huh?
No, absolutely not. You know, like I said, there's so many benefits of being out here. You know, with the chickens we get eggs. You know, with the stream there's fish. You know, there's, you know, natural plants. You've got mullein and chaga and different things that you can use to, you know, benefit your life and live a healthy lifestyle. So that's what we're trying to do out here. So this is chaga. This is very healthy. It's like a bacterium. A lot of people consider it to be a mushroom, but you can cut this off of the tree. It's on yellow and white birch trees, and you can take this up and you can grind it into a powder. You can put it in with your coffee. It's got a ton of health benefits. You can make a tincture out of it. You can make tea out of it. The best time to harvest this is anytime the weather's below 40 degrees, and you just cut it off. You want to leave a little bit. It actually kills the tree. As you can see, it's kind of, so you want to cut it, but you want to cut it so it'll grow back so you can reharvest it, and then you can go ahead and continue to reuse it, and you get your chaga. So, but it's got anti-radicals in it and helps with preventing cancer and all kinds of different health benefits.
That's Garfield right there. How you doing, buddy? Hey, what you up to, bud? Yeah, you can say hi. Come on over. Hi, buddy.
They're waiting on the food.
They're waiting on the food?
Yeah.
Lou's coming out with the food for the ducks. All right, this should be fun. Hungry ducks.
You gotta put it by the water because they like to eat the water, then eat the food, and then drink water. because they mash it up.
So the reality of living out here is it can be harsh, right? Especially in the winter.
So in the wintertime, they don't plow out here. So the closest county road is, you know, almost a mile, and the closest plowed county road is 8 miles. So in the wintertime, our only way to get in and out of here is via snowmobile. So we've got two, they're both 2-ups, and they both have hitches on them for our tow sleds. And we basically ride a sled, and we put everything on our tow sled here, or on the hitch here, and it's about 16 miles round trip. So, you know, to get groceries or anything that we need in the wintertime, you know, it's a production. Put on all your gear and hop on the sled, and sometimes you're coming back at night in the middle of a blizzard, and yeah, it's definitely a little bit different. But you know, the snowmobile crowd out here is they're a wonderful group of people, and we appreciate them, and these sleds are essential to our way of life out here, especially in the wintertime.
So it might be 20 below, and you've just got to do what you got to do, huh?
Got to do it. I had COVID a few years ago and was very sick, and we had this sled. I had 104-degree fever, and I had to hop on a sled, and we had to go to the hospital because there's no ambulance coming out here. So
yeah, that's the reality of being out here.
yeah, no, those are the things that you have to, when you live off grid, there's certain luxuries that you have to give up, and you know, when you're this far away, when something happens, you got to just accept it.
And you've got to have your wits about you too.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta not panic, be smart, and you know, make sure that you're prepared. You know, I like to think I'm a Boy Scout out here. You know, I've got first aid and pretty much everything I need out here in case something happens. I try to you know, be self-sufficient as much as I can.
So if you're going to live in Michigan, you got to have a lot of firewood.
Yeah, we go through about 16 face cords, so about 2.5 more rows, and then that over there is all kindling. So this is cedar that you use to. This is a lot drier, and it's a great fire starter. Instead of having to buy or burn paper or something like that, you just cut up some cedar, and that whole row back there is full of cedar. And then this is all back here. This is all maple that's got to be split, and this is all the firewood that will burn through, and that'll fill this whole.
So you're going to fill this up completely.
Yeah, it'll be completely full.
This big shed right here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
Got your own splitter to take care of this wood here?
Yeah, yeah. There's a 28-ton log splitter right there, and split up all these logs for firewood. There's about 6 face cord right here. Once this is all said and done, that'll be me about 1.5 rows inside the woodshed there. So, and then I've got some trees that we felled, making room for the Starlink on top of the roof there. So no obstruction. So we had to drop one big maple and another smaller maple, and we'll cut that up as well and use that as firewood as well.
So you burn most of your trash?
Yeah, for the most part. We try not to let anything go to waste out here. So we've got a burn barrel over there that we use for a lot of stuff, and obviously our cans. We've got a container there that we use for most of our canned goods. And then, you know, as far as food scrap goes, you know, the dogs get a lot of food scraps, and obviously our chickens, you'll see occasionally, you might find an avocado seed on the ground for when the avocado scraps came out here, and the chickens went ahead and cleaned up all our veggie scraps.
What did they get?
The dogs got we had some bears, so I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock. We had a group of bear dogs in here, and they had treed a bear about 75 feet away from the kennel, and the hunters came and they shot the bear, and the hunters were kind enough to go ahead. They gave us the bear heart, and they gave us the liver of the bear, and we fed those we gave those to the dogs, and they were very happy to have that fresh meat. So
I like smelt too.
yeah, they eat fish too. We get fish. We dip net smelt in the springtime. So if you're not familiar with smelt, it's a little sardine type of fish about this big, and you can go down, you can get 2.5 gallons of smelt every day per person, and they make an excellent meal. There's also plenty of lakes around here. Fish for perch, brook trout, plenty of streams. Do a lot of fishing, pike, northern pike. And we hunt partridge, which is basically like a wild chicken. So we, you know, and then we have our chickens for eggs, and we have meat chickens as well, and we have ducks. So we have our ducks for eggs, and we have ducks for meat. And
Kitty catches buddies.
yeah, we've got rabbits, so a little bit of everything out here. So We live literally off the grid as much as possible. So there's one of our tow sleds for the wintertime. There's another one right there that I just repainted on top of the picnic table there. There's another tow sled. That's a little mushing sled. So we've got 3 different sleds that we use depending on what we're hauling in the wintertime in and out.
You know, with the chickens, are they mostly for eggs?
Mostly layers, but we do have a couple of meat chickens. So if we decide that we want to go ahead and do a soup stock or something like that, or have roast chicken, we have them available, but they're mostly layers.
Tomatoes and cucumbers and
strawberries. And yeah, we didn't grow much this year. We grew ducks this year.
Yeah.
So we utilized the garden space for ducks this year, which is good for fertilizer for next year. But normally, on a given year, we'll have tomatoes and cucumbers, and we'll do green peppers and jalapeno peppers, and we have strawberries and onions and potatoes and we had squash and watermelon. We do quite a bit of gardening this year. This year we just a million other projects, and just didn't quite get around to it this year, which was unfortunate because everything kind of went through the roof this year as far as cost. So, and we've got all the seeds, and the seeds, you know, they stay good forever pretty much, and you know, it saves a ton of money when you can grow your own food, jar your own food, can your own food. It's nice to be able to have that stuff available.
Cook your own food.
Yeah.
So normally you would have a really abundant garden.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So tons of tomatoes. We have tomatoes left over. I mean, tons of tomatoes. We don't even use all our tomatoes. I mean, there's so many of them typically, but
chickens we eat them,
yeah,
or we give them away.
Yeah, or we do give a lot of veggies away to neighbors and friends. So just like we gave you some eggs.
Yeah, thanks for those.
Yeah, no problem.
The deer are not afraid of the dogs. They come in for your vegetables, right? They're hungry. That's why you're.
Yeah. We came home one day and there was a doe standing right. Literally the doe and our female were literally almost nose to nose between the fences, sniffing each other. Yeah. So it's unique that they come around here, which is nice because the dogs keeps the wolves away and protects the deer. So, and then, you know, we can hunt the deer if we want to. So, but
they like to play.
Yeah, they like to play.
The deer and the dogs like to play.
Yeah.
That sounds really cute.
Yeah. Well, Raven, she'd play with a horse. When we were in Tennessee, she'd run on the fence with the horse. So they like to play with big animals too.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on with all this stuff here, Perry.
Well, a lot of people like to think that it's Sanford and Son out here, kind of like a junkyard, but truthfully, being off the grid, you know, one of the reasons I moved out here is because I really want to conserve nature, and I hate to see anything being wasted. So a lot of the stuff that is around here, I went ahead and repurposed. It was things that people were either throwing away. For example, the greenhouse behind me was built with windows that were donated. Basically, people in town that were getting rid of the stuff that would have ended up in a landfill that I went ahead and repurposed and used to build the greenhouse. Another thing is with bed springs, old bed mattress and stuff, went ahead and took all the foam off the bed springs, and we went ahead and put the bed springs up as the fencing for our garden. So we repurpose as much as we can to try to conserve so these things don't end up in a landfill.
Yeah, it makes sense, you know, keep stuff out of the landfill.
Yeah.
That's good for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So the tires are going to eventually be turned into a root cellar. There was one over there, that little box with the 7 on it is actually a bathtub that my grandfather put together with and that's a little root cellar right there, but we're going to expand that and dig it out and make it a lot bigger. So, you know, you got all these hotels in different places, and they have mattresses, and, you know, after so many years, they'll replace the mattresses, and all those end up in the landfill. So, you know, we see people throwing them out in town, and, you know, we'll take the mattress and we'll basically rip the material off the mattress, and we'll keep the springs. And we've went ahead and repurposed this as our fencing for our garden. And obviously we covered it in chicken wire. This year we grew these ducks in our garden, but normally we've got a full garden in here with tomatoes and cucumbers and a little bit of everything, strawberries, raspberries, you name it. We went ahead and repurposed, and all these are different size mattresses. You know, we went ahead and utilized this for a door, and you know, we took all this stuff and we try to repurpose as much as we can. Been grateful for the people that have donated stuff to us. Try to use as much as we can. Instead of this stuff going in the landfill, it's serving a purpose. It may not necessarily look pretty, but it's completely functional and it gets the job done. Keeps the deer out of our garden and raccoons and any other small critters.
It's great because you can not only repurpose, which keeps things out of the landfill, like you say, but it also saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Instead of buying fencing, you know, it was just as easy to go ahead and take this. It's a little bit more work, but you know, that's what you expect to do when you're living out here out the grid. You know, nothing ever comes easy, but you can get creative. You know.
Yeah, we can make it pretty.
Yeah, and yes, you can.
Yeah, you can do anything with it.
Yeah, you can pretty much do anything with it. So.
Yeah, and Lou over here will be the artist who will make it all pretty.
Tractor supplied ducks.
Tractor supplied ducks? So you use these guys for eggs or what?
Yeah, that's the goal. You know, when they're little, you can't really tell which ones are male and female, so you don't really get a choice. But you can obviously tell that we've got some females and we've also got some males with the mallards and the hens there. We've got the drakes with the green heads. So the goal is this coming spring is to have duck eggs. So we might end up having that guy for Thanksgiving dinner, that guy maybe for Christmas dinner. The goal is to get us some, we're really more about the eggs out here more than anything else with the chickens and the ducks. Don't really particularly like to harvest them if I don't have to. What's great about the ducks is their pest control. You know, the chickens and the ducks especially, you know, up here in Upper Michigan, we've got a lot more ticks now that the weather's been a lot warmer. So the ducks do a great job. They'll pluck, you know, insects right out of the sky, flies, you know, ticks. They eat beetles off the ground. They really are natural pest repellent. So, and you know, they're great. You know, like I said, we put them in this part of the garden this year, and they're great for fertilizer. So this will all be tilled next year, and it'll be great soil for growing our garden next year.
And if you wanted to keep your garden free of destructive insects, these ducks would eat them right up.
These ducks will eat them right up.
They keep the ducks out of the garden now.
So, yeah.
This is the greenhouse that they're building. It's in progress right now. So
all the windows were donated. Here's some shelves here. We've got tools in here. I'm working on it. It's coming.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
Over there you got the shelves back there.
On the back side over there on the outside.
Okay.
I got to finish more construction on it, but we used all repurposed stuff for this except for the roof. We put, obviously those are new 2x4s, but everything else was all, these logs were from a cabin that somebody decided to tear down, and we took all the studs out, put those in the ground, and the rest of this lumber was from an old 100-year-old shed that somebody decided to tear down. Like I said, there's a few new 2x4s, but all this old wood and then this plastic here, and the kettle cages up top there for the roof. Still got a little bit of work to do before it's ready for winter.
So repurposing is a big part of off-grid and homestead type living.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you don't ever want to see anything go to waste if you can help it, you know, and try to repurpose as much as we possibly can.
And get an idea of how big this thing is. Perry's standing there. So it's a, you know, it's not a bad sized greenhouse.
So this is a 40-foot Connex container that I bought, and obviously living off-grid, you got to have some type of income. So I went ahead and bought pallets from Amazon and Target. And what we've gone ahead and done is we basically inventory everything here and keep stock everything in here, and we sell everything on e-commerce marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace and eBay and Amazon and wherever we can go ahead and sell it. So that helps pay for everything out here.
So you've got a big storage container filled with stuff that you sell on eBay and anywhere else online maybe?
Yeah, everything that we can sell online. I mean, it's a little bit of miscellaneous. You don't really pick what's on the pallets when you get them. But FedEx brings them to you, and then you just basically go through and you organize it. So it's a 40-foot container, and it's just full of inventory.
So do you just get random stuff?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. You know, we'll get everything from iPads to phone cases to clothing. We've got lots of stuff from Target, Cat and Jack stuff, and UP Liquidators, upliquidationsales.com on eBay, UP Liquidation Sales on eBay.
So sometimes you don't even know what you're getting.
Pretty much most of the time we don't know what we're getting, but we make it work.
Let's have a look around here and see what's in here that you might want to be selling to people. All kinds of stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally everything from books. I mean, I've got hair dryers, I've got DVDs, toys, I mean, little waffle makers. I mean, it's just a plethora of everything. We just turned the generator on. We've got lights here, and it's just boxes and boxes of pallets and all kinds of different phone cases, masks. We got quite a few masks, obviously, from COVID, but a little bit of everything. So CD players, purifiers, you name it.
So just a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. So there's all the stuff on the wall there. All that stuff's for sale. All this stuff, phone cases, coasters. I mean, that's Warrior tape. I mean, there's wasp killer, spider killer. I mean, I try to organize stuff the best I can, but you open a box and you list 50 things, and the next day you sold 20 of them, and you just it's like a vicious cycle. So, but it goes on and on. But like I said, it does pay the bills, so that helps quite a bit. But we've been doing it for a while.
You have bigger stuff like furniture. How do you sell that?
So some of the bigger pallets that we get from Target and Amazon, they'll have reclining chairs, they'll have coffee tables, bar stools, that kind of stuff, because it's too expensive to go ahead and ship via e-commerce on eBay. What we'll do that is we'll take those on locally on Marketplace, and we'll put those stuff on Marketplace. Lots of lamps, lots of lighting equipment, couches, recliners, dining room tables. We've gone through quite the plethora of stuff from Amazon and Target. Those are all overstock items that we get. So a little bit of everything.
So you're going to do what with these tires?
So all these tires are going to be turned into a root cellar. So the original root cellar that was here is right here. This was something that my grandfather had made just from some C blocks, and then there's a bathtub. So this was actually our root cellar. But I'm going to dig this all out, and then what we're going to do is we're going to basically have the root cellar here. You're going to be able to walk down into it, and those tires are going to be the basic of the foundation for that root cellar, and then it'll be covered with dirt. So when you'll walk down right here. This is all going to be dug out, but this is the original root cellar. Ice cold. You can put a can of soda or something in there, and it's 40 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty neat.
All year round.
Year round. Yeah, year round. Middle of summer, you can pull a can of soda out of here and it'll be ice cold. This is how they did it 50 years ago. You know, this is how they, you know, this is a cast iron bathtub that he's got for the backing on this, and it's just covered in dirt. So you got your old claw foot tubs. So those are where the legs would hook up. And then this is your old drain, which you use for an air vent. So, and then that's your container. And this was all basically covered with dirt. I started to shovel out a little bit. So it's going to be a lot bigger. And those tires are going to be the base of the foundation, which will go basically through this area right here. And this will be the root cellar where we'll keep all our food stored.
Perry's opening up the root cellar here. And let's have a look inside.
So got insulated door. Obviously we haven't used this in a while, so the mice have been
chewing up the
it. But this was
styrofoam insulation.
Styrofoam insulation, and this was it.
Well, this is okay. It's just a little thing, but very efficient, huh?
Yeah, and then this down here. Oh, there's a little dead mouse right there. But this here, so this sand down here used to be able to keep vegetables in here, and they'd all be cold in this sand. If you feel that, that's ice cold.
Yeah.
So
all right, let me just have a feel in there.
So you keep vegetables down there in that sand.
Yeah.
Potatoes, carrots, and then you keep all your jarred stuff up here. But we haven't used this in years, but the basic concept is there. So the dirt line was originally up to here. So this is all dug out now because I'm obviously removing it and replacing it. But this is all underneath ground. So this is all covered with dirt. This is a big mound right here, all the way back here. And this is all covered, and that allowed it to keep everything nice and cold inside.
So it was literally like ice cold.
Yeah, like ice cold. Yep.
Like just a few degrees above freezing, maybe 5, 6.
42 maybe would be the warmest it would get. In the swamp, I went down and I cut these cedar posts and got them cemented in the ground here, and these old car hoods that I refurbished these car hoods, and I'm basically building a deck here around this fire pit. So this is kind of the start of that project, and that's one of the hoods, and there's 3 more hoods over there, and then I've got posts over here. And it's just all always a project out here. There's something going on. In probably about a year, it's going to look a lot different than what it did this year. Every year it's always expanding and growing.
So what's this thing going to look like when it's totally completed?
So there'll be 4 car hoods around on the top, and those would probably have ended up in a dump somewhere or a landfill. And they're going to be basically a covered deck that's going to go all the way around this fire pit right here.
Okay, and that's a nice fire pit there, by the way.
Yeah, all those rocks came out of the ground, so I pulled them up and moved them. So it's just lots of hard physical labor right there. Those aren't small stones.
There it is, the outhouse.
Yeah, that's where all the magic happens.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
And
we have a little bit of garden lime there in the corner that we put in every time we go ahead and use it. We just put a little cup down there, and so.
And that does the trick.
That does the trick.
It's a pretty fancy outhouse as outhouses go.
Yeah, as far as outhouses go.
And with 5 rolls of toilet paper in here, if you run out, you have a serious problem.
Got some magazines up there.
And look at that bunch of antlers right there. Old rabbit snare.
Yeah, you take this and you basically hang this from a tree. You find a run line where the rabbits are running, and you tie this to a branch. And rabbits, they'll put their head through there and it'll tighten up. And it's rabbit snare. My grandfather used to use piano wire. He said it was the best, but I didn't have any piano wire.
So you went from Hollywood to this?
Yeah, people think I'm nuts out here. You know, there's 2 trains of thought. I'm either living the dream or I'm completely insane. You know, it's a different lifestyle, you know, from celebrities to, you know, squirrels.
Yeah, but you're living the Facebook dream.
Yeah.
I wish I had this cabin.
Yeah, everybody wants to know if they want to live in a cabin in the woods and get paid $5,000.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. It costs more than $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as easy as it looks.
No, lots of projects all the time.
Right.
Yeah, so don't try this at home. Oh wait, we are at home.
Yeah, this is home. So, but yeah, millions of projects. Greenhouse, lean-to, deck, gazebo, firewood.
You have to build your dream.
Yeah, you have to build your dream.
You gotta build your dream.
I'll give one piece of advice to everybody out there. If you're thinking about doing this, do your research and just pull the trigger. You know, there's no time in the present. We only have one go around. And it's a lot of hard work, but it's the most rewarding work you can do. You know, everything that I build out here, there's a sense of accomplishment that I didn't get from any other job that I ever had. And I think that, you know, that does a lot for your personal well-being. Like I said, if you're thinking about that you want to do this, just go ahead and do it.
Man, at the same time, don't fool yourself.
No, it's a lot of hard work. It's not, you know, picture life 100 years ago is what I told her when she first moved here. I said, you know, think about 100 years back, and, you know, obviously we have a few modern luxuries, but for the most part, we live our life out here like it was 100 years ago.
Well, I hope you learned a thing or two about homesteading up here in the UP of Michigan. Thanks for joining me and meeting Lou and Perry, and I thank them for all their good knowledge that they shared with us. So don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Till next time, this is Rockhopper. I'll see ya.